Today we've got on the rake Phoenix, which is the front car. Then we've got Ibis, which is a kitchen car, a 20-seater. Then we've got Perseus, which is another parlour car, 26 seats. Then we come down into the next unit where we've got Cygnus. That's a 26-seat parlour car. Then we come into Vera. Vera is another kitchen car of 20 seats. Then we move into Lucille. 24 seats in Lucille. And then we come on into Minerva, where we are today. Now that's a parlour car as well. And then back again we go into Ione, another kitchen car, because now we're in another set again. And last of all, and I don't know about maybe the most famous, but the most famous that people will know, Xena, because that was the car that was used in Murder on the Orient Express.
Welcome to Visions, a series of visits to almost everywhere, and we are spending our last full day in England right now. We're traveling through England, and out of all the time we've been here, about a week now, today is the first time on our tour, our grand tour of England. The trip is at least half the fun and most of the legend. What you're hearing right now is we're on the rails. We're heading out to points, Bristol being one of them, to Harvey's winery and museum. We are on the world-famed legendary Orient Express. Now, Venice Simplon Orient Express hostesses already greeted us at Victoria Station at around 9 a.m. or 0900. We went into the check-in lounge and checked in, and then, of course, we boarded our car. We're going to depart about 9:45. Well, of course, we've already departed, and it was closer to 9:55. We're going to be served a delicious brunch. We're in the midst of it right now. It's a terrific coffee, Colombian coffee, of course, with hot milk and some champagne with freshly squeezed oranges. On our menu is fresh fruit compote. We've already had that. Scrambled eggs with chives coming up. Cold honey roast ham with tomatoes. Selection of breakfast rolls. We just got ours with butter and preserves, which we have on the table now. Again, we're in the name of our car is Minerva, and we're in seat 7. We're traveling backwards, by the way, which is sometimes a problem. We're going to have Danish pastry after that, and coffee again from Colombia, or we can have tea. Okay, let me continue with the itinerary right now. We're going to be greeted at the station in Bristol by a guide and taken by coach to our first destination, which is Harvey's Wine Cellars and Museum. After a short guided tour, what could be more enjoyable than a glass of Harvey's wonderful sherry, unless, of course, you're a teetotaler, but we'll have a little sherry anyway. The coach will then take us to the famous, trying to make this out, iron ship SS Great Britain to picturesque Clifton Village, home of Brunel's magnificent super suspension bridge, which spans the Avon Gorge. There we'll be disembarking to take photographs before we rejoin the coach for a tour of the city, taking in such delights as the quaint Christmas steps and St. Mary Redcliffe Church, favorite of Queen Elizabeth I. Then we're going to rejoin the train at about 15:40, which is about 3:40, and depart about 3:48 or 15:48. We'll have a light supper, which will be served on the journey back to London, and we'll arrive about 10 minutes to 7. Okay, we're going to take a tour of the Orient Express up here. We're starting at the front. We're going to go right through the cars and introduce you to each car. They're all named. And we're at the front right now. We're looking right into the engine. The front, of course, we can't get into the engine, but here we are in the furthest front we can go. And the first car here is Xena. And to introduce you to Xena, it's a first-class bowler car. It's 24 and it was built in 1928 by Metropolitan Camel Carriage and Wagon Company Limited of Bournemouth, Bell, 1929 through 1946. Queen of Scots and Yorkshire Pullman, 1946 and 1955. Sounds like the sires in the whatever here. Golden Era, 1955, 1966. Queen of Scots, 1916 through 61. Tees Tyne Pullman, 1961 through 65, and used in the film Agatha, about Agatha Christie, 1976. It was acquired from T. Robinson in 1979, and we're going to check that out a little bit, find out about those years and how they came about. Sort of the, I guess that would sort of be like the possibly the pedigree. Okay, we're moving front to back, of course, and continuing along. coming through. And each car, of course, is differently. This is known as Car Xena, a little bit quieter here. And each carriage, as I said, is different, differently designed, and for the most part, I believe, purchased because this line was not in operation at one point, and it's sort of been brought back together again, and these cars found and brought together. Okay, we're leaving Xena now, going through. The sounds of the Venice Simplon Orient Express. Opening the door. These carriages, by the way, are empty. There is nobody in these two carriages. We're in a car Ione, I-O-N-E. There are two people sitting in here having a drink, and then two more here. Passing by a steward coming through. Let me get out of his way, and we're in. Again, I'm pronouncing it Ione, but we'll check it out. It's a first-class kitchen car. It seats 20. It was built in 1928 by Metropolitan Camel Carriage and Wagon Company Limited for the Queen of Scots Pullman. Ocean liner services to Plymouth or Southampton and Bournemouth, Bell 1929 through 1939. I would say that this is when this car was being used and in service. Queen of Scots 1948 through 54, 1960 through 64. Who was using it? I guess Golden Arrow, Yorkshire, and South Wales Pullman 1954 through 1960. On the high-speed Talisman route, 880 miles per day. It was doing 1964 through 1968. It retired in 1968 and then acquired from the Birmingham Railway Museum in 1981. So you see, these have all been brought back together again and put together. Each car, of course, has its own lavatory, at least one, probably two. We're coming into the car that we're in, the carriage that we're in, and again, that's car Minerva. And let's go check out the description. Here is our home for the day, car Minerva. 3 people coming through. Three. We're going to spend a moment also on the way back with a couple of my carriage mates who are hockey fans. And at this point, I'm trying to find out what the Rangers did against Vancouver in the Stanley Cup Finals in the 4th game of the series. Well, but they don't know either. They're Toronto fans. We're in Minerva right now. First-class crawler car. Seats 26. It was built in 1927. Hey, we're in Minerva right now. It's a first-class crawler car. Seats 26. It was built in 1927 by Midland Railway Carriage and Wagon Company Limited, Devon Bell, 1947 through 1951. It was used in the Special Festival of Britain Lake, 1951, and Golden Arrow, 1951 through 61, applied from Lytham Creek Railway Museum in 1981. As you can see, they've all been brought together just for us. People riding, there are all the seats, of course, are armchairs, very comfortable. There's not a common seat in the house. People reading, sleeping. The sun is out. It was rather dark and dank this morning when we got up. I kind of said, well, here's the day we're taking the Orient Express, and it's rainy, and then it turns out, well, you know, you think about Agatha Christie and Murder on the Orient Express and so on and so forth, and you say, well, rain is okay, dark is okay, dank is okay, it adds to the mystery. Lucille, we're in Lucille right now, and Lucille's a first-class parlor car. She seats 24, built in 1928 by Metropolitan Camel Carriage and Wagon Company Limited. So far, they've built the bulk of them. It's an all-steel car designed for Queen of Scots, but used on ocean liner expresses and Torquay Pullman until the war. It was stored at Glend in 1945, Queen of Scots Yorkshire Pullman, Master Cutler in 1949 onwards. It's abbreviated, and we'll try to check that out later on with Mr. Rennie. Met Queen liners and SS United States 1960 through 1963. I remember the SS United States, and apparently it would meet the liners as they docked. And then Bournemouth Bell 1964 until retired after its last run in 1967. It was acquired from E. Lewis Evans 1985 and joined the Venice Simplon Orient Express Pullman and revived Bournemouth Bell 1986. So the lineage and the pedigree and where it was, where these cars were. And isn't it fun, folks? You're listening to Visions, a series of visits to almost everywhere. We're in the kitchen. We're looking in the kitchen. Dishes being washed and food being prepared. We're opening up this door, and we're coming into Car Vera. Okay, now we're in Car Vera, built by Metropolitan Camel Carriage and Wagon Company Limited, Saltley, Birmingham, England, at first-class kitchen car in 1932. Paired with Audrey on Brighton Vale, bombed in Victoria Station, the year of my birth, 1940. Roof was rebuilt. Royal Review of Fleet, 1953. Prince Charles and Princess Anne's first trip on an electric train, they were in this car in 1954. It was withdrawn, I guess retired, in 1972, and then preserved by Mrs. Deborah Turner in Summer Garden, acquired for Venice Simplon Orient Express in 1985. I hope you're hearing all this. It's rather loud. Now, I believe Cygnus is the name of this car, first-class parlor car, 26 seats. Construction commenced in 1938, but completion deferred until 1951 due to war. Builders were Birmingham Railway Carriage and Wagon Company. Used in the Special Festival of Britain, R-A-K-E, in 1951. Reserved for use by royalty and visiting heads of state. Used in Winston Churchill's funeral train in 1965. Made last journey of Golden Arrow in 1972. And I guess again, Golden Arrow must be one of the lines in 1972 again, and acquired from North Yorkshire Moors Railway in 1977. So this car was used in Winston Churchill's funeral train. So we're walking basically through history at this point. Somebody reading John Grisham's The Chamber. There's a lady reading Buddhism. A newspaper opened up here. This lady is sleeping. Two ladies sleeping. Missing the view. Oh well. Okay, coming through. There's a waiter behind us, and I'll move. Okay, I guess what we call waiters, stewards.
That's it.
Stewards. Okay, let's drop the word waiter from our vocabulary right now and go with steward. It looks like fresh parsley. There's a kitchen car, and there's fresh parsley, and we're looking in the kitchen now. Opening up the door and coming through to Car Ibis. I-B-I-S. Oh, and
you with ITV on BBC?
Car Ibis. We thought that was BBC, radio, television. It's not. We're going back to America, and we're going to take our tapes and leave in a little while. Okay. Okay, coming through. We're in the Ibis, I-B-I-S, first-class kitchen car. It seats 20. It's a small car. It was built in 1925 by Birmingham Railway Carriage and Wagon Company. It was purchased by the Pullman Car Company Limited in 1928 and returned to Britain for Golden Arrow service. Entered Cunard boat train service between Victoria and Southampton in 1952. It retired in 1968. It brought back and acquired from the Birmingham Railway Museum in 1981. And by the way, there is no club car or bar car or every seat is cushy, every seat is an armchair, every seat is beautiful and very comfortable, and we eat at our individual tables. But we're in the Phoenix right now, and this may be the star of the group right now. It's a first-class parlor car built in 1927 by Metropolitan Camel Carriage and Wagon Company Limited, as most of them are. It was named the Rainbow at one time, and it burned at Minerva, England in 1936, but was built in 1952 by Preston Clark Works, Brighton, and appropriately renamed Phoenix. I guess up from the ashes. Okay, it's the favorite favorite carriage of Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother, and used by General Charles de Gaulle and visiting heads of state. Made last journey of Golden Arrow in 1972, became stationary restaurant in Lyon, France in 1973. It is no longer stationary. It was acquired in 1980, and that is a look at our Orient Express. There are a number of them. They travel different routes, and we'll get all that when we're with Michael Rennie. But this is our Orient Express. A quick tour, and let's head back to where are we? We're in Minerva. Let's go home to Minerva. Okay, I guess we're back. No, we're not in Minerva right now. We're in Car Lucille, and we're with our steward, Gus, and we're just passing a site, a highlight on the tour over here called White Horse. And Gus, good afternoon. I guess it's afternoon now. Talk about our point of interest, White Horse.
The White Horse is actually carved out the hillside. The limestone escarpment was carved out about 1,000 years ago to celebrate the Battle of King Alfred. Originally it had a cart behind it, which they took away about 100 years ago when they actually redug it out to form. It actually forms a very, very nice view as you come across the Avon Plain, and it's the oldest one in England. There is various others in this area, but this particular one is the oldest one.
What is the connection with Stonehenge? Is there any connection to Stonehenge?
I'm not really sure. I don't think there is, but in this area there's a lot of Druid artifacts, and the White Horse is a famous battle. There's also various burial mounds and Stonehenge. So there's a lot of history in this particular part of the country.
And we passed by the area, through the area where Stonehenge is. I guess that's in Salisbury?
It's just outside Salisbury.
And it's a Druid monument, Druid whatever?
Oh, I think it's a Druid monument. They're not quite sure of its origins.
Okay, so how's it going here today, Gus?
It's very nice. The customers, particularly this gent's, very, very, very good. Enjoying themselves.
Okay. How long have you, I guess we might as well get you just for a moment, how long have you been with the Orient Express, and you must be enjoying it?
I've been here 9 years. It's very, very interesting. You meet a lot of nice people.
Okay, so that's Gus. Gus, what's your last name?
De Rosa.
Gus De Rosa, is that you're Italian?
I'm half Italian, half Scottish.
Oh, so this is truly an international train we're on. I guess it's not called the Underground, it's called the train.
That's right.
It's okay to call, I've just gotten used to calling, instead of calling subways and trains, and calling it Underground, so of course it's not an Underground here. Gus, thank you very much, and thanks for the info, sir.
You're welcome.
We are now stopped for a moment at Bath Spa on our way, and the reason why we stopped over here is that some folks on the and this is optional, some folks on the trip here can get off at Bath and hang out and look around and then get back on as we come back. And right now there's, as we understand from Gus, our steward, there's a fringe art festival going on right now, and it's very much like in Agatha Christie's day, I guess. In Miss Marple, kids and at various ages. There are some mostly female, and I guess they look around 16, 17. One looks like a waif carrying a cup and very shabbily dressed for effect, and they appear to be either begging for alms or they're and you can hear the conga going. On our side of the platform, there's a conga player. I guess that's a conga, or what we call a conga in the States, and smoking something over there, and he's banging away. And on the other side of the platform, going in the other direction, they seem to be begging, pleading, please, please, and asking. I don't think they're actually begging for money. I just don't think. I think they're just they're artists working now. They've stopped. There are two women right in front of us, and it seems to be as it might have been. It seems to me as it might have been. I guess back in the late 1800s, early 1900s, when waves approached the Orient Express as it came through. So it's very, it kind of adds a flavor to it. So that's what we're doing. We're listening to this. We're moving now. And folks, by the way, there are pigeons in Britain. And as we're passing by, people are looking at the Orient Express, and she's waving goodbye. She's besieging and pleading, and they're running alongside the platform. We are moving right to left. That's where we're going. Right to left is our movement, and moving ahead, leaving Bath Spas. We are about to come off the express. We have arrived in Bristol, and Gus is helping us.
The guy's just the gent down there, walking up the platform.
He's passed us on to the gent down there. So we're heading for the gent. We're going to be spending a little time with a couple of car mates in just a little while. Right now we're just sort of walking by ourselves. You're listening to Visions, a series of visits to almost everywhere. And we are going to almost everywhere today. We are on a Pullman, a day Pullman, from Victoria Station to Bristol. We're about to go to Harvey's Wineries and Museum. We're in Bristol Temple Meads. And I guess this is the gentleman we're waiting for. This whole group. Gee, I know just about everybody coming off here, but I've been speaking to a couple of ladies from Torontoans, I guess. From, I don't know if that's what you call Toronto, people from Toronto, but I'm with a couple of ladies from Toronto who are sitting across from me, and to my near right over here, your name is?
Rosemary Balla.
Rosemary Baller?
Balla, B-A-L-L-A-G-H. Good Irish name.
Balla, good Irish name, and to my far right?
Lil McTaggart, a good Scottish name.
Or Scottish and Irish. We all came together today, but we do have one thing in common. I was wondering, I had asked for a newspaper from the steward to find out what the New York Rangers had done last night in hockey in Vancouver, and I'm with a couple of hockey fans, but Toronto fans, well, at least one hockey fan that I know of, and both baseball fans. One is a Mookie Wilson and Dave Winfield fan.
That's right.
Okay, let's start with the Mookie Wilson fan.
He was great. He was terrific in the Blue Jays and terrific when we had him in Toronto. We're sorry he left.
Well, and he's gone on to bigger and better things. Hopefully he's doing well. And you're a Dave Winfield fan?
Yes. Dave Winfield from the time he hit the Seagull in our stadium.
When he was with the Yankees, that's right. He came to visit as a Yankee. So, okay, now, and again, your name is
Rosemary.
Rosemary Balla.
Yes, yes.
Okay, and then Lucille? Lil, yeah, I had the...
Paul Molitor.
Okay, the Paul Molitor fan. Okay, and a major hockey fan. Sorry about those Toronto... I forgot Toronto Maple Leafs. But how long are you a hockey fan now?
Oh, about 50, 60 years.
So you're of course one of the original six, and I guess before that, I guess if you're from Toronto or Canada, that was the major sport.
Yes, it was one of them. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, do you do a lot of traveling? I guess you do. You like to move around?
Yes, okay. A fair amount.
Okay, where have you been? This is a recent tour, your most recent tour. Where have you been on this tour?
Well, we've been all around the London area, and we went to Wembley Arena to see Torval and Dean. Mm-hmm. And we went on the Thames, which was very beautiful. And shopping, Harrods, Fortnum and Masons.
So you're getting busy. Rosemary, Rosemary, right?
Yes, yes.
You got it this time.
You got it this time.
Do you two ladies kind of travel as a team?
We've really never traveled on a big holiday before, but we wanted to see Ireland and Scotland and England, so we decided we'd come together.
Okay, is this your first stop on this whirlwind tour?
Yes, it is. We've been in London about a week. Mm-hmm. We leave tomorrow and then go on to Ireland and Scotland.
And how long are you planning on being away from home?
Almost a month.
And then you'll both wind up in Toronto?
That's right, yes.
So you're neighbors in Toronto? And
we're neighbors and friends.
Okay, and how long friends?
Oh, maybe 20 years.
Really? So you've been together for a while. You bought some souvenirs. I know the pen and some other stuff.
And some postcards of the Orient Express. Great to send to people and great to show to people when you get home.
Right. And now you head on from here. When do you, did you tell us when you're leaving?
We go to Ireland tomorrow.
Right.
And then we go to Edinburgh a week Saturday.
Okay, so I go back to America tomorrow. Then I'm going home and I guess that's it. And I don't know. I think I go to Puerto Rico on the 19th of June, but it's been nice getting away. Okay, so I'm going to kind of let you drift along a little bit. We'll go find the guided tour, and then we'll hook up later on and compare notes after we've had our sherry.
Lovely. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.